Hello. Winston Churchill once said, "You make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give." This is a quote that I live by. My professional career is as a volunteer coordinator, so I am very passionate about encouraging people to volunteer in some sort of capacity in their lives. And with my job currently, we are in desperate need of more volunteers, so I thought this would be a great topic to do my persuasive speech on. Working for a nonprofit, we rely on our volunteer hours. We must match 5% of employee hours with volunteer hours. So as I'm trying to fill requests every day that come in for a volunteer, I also, as I'm trying to fill them when they come in, there are more coming in that need to be put on the waiting list because my volunteer list and my needs are totally not on the same level. So if I was able to recruit more volunteers and have kind of more of a waiting list instead of a waiting list of patients waiting for volunteers, I'd rather have a list of volunteers waiting for a patient, because then I wouldn't have any patients that don't have a volunteer. 30 minutes of your time once a week is very meaningful and important to patients. It has a huge impact on their lives. It might be the only social interaction they get besides visiting with one of their team members. So if you were able to drop by on your lunch break or stop by after work for 30 minutes on your way home, you could really impact somebody's life in a way that you never imagined before. Most of my volunteers that I work with, they say that they get more out of volunteering than they think that their patients get from them being a volunteer, which I know isn't true, but it is very nice to hear that my volunteers are really enjoying their roles as well. In hospice, if someone is struggling as the end approaches, the only thing they may need more than anything is a hand to hold and an ear to listen to them. We have a lot of patients that have 6 months or less to live, which qualifies them for hospice care, and they may be on a whole bunch of medications, and the one thing that may help ease somebody's pain is socialization. And if somebody is having that need met, they may require less medication because their pain may be related to loneliness. And if we can eliminate that, that is our main goal. More reasons why you should become a volunteer is it looks good on college resumes and work resumes if you're submitting your application to a new job. If you're considering working in the medical field in any capacity, working one-on-one with patients is really beneficial because you can kind of see the process from the very beginning and follow it all the way to the end, and then be there to support the families as they're experiencing anticipatory grieving or they are already in that grief process. And it is really nice to be able to provide support because you were familiar with that patient, and it is such an honor to be on that journey with them from the beginning to the end of their tenure in hospice. So I'm going to quote a couple different people that I found from my sources that I've cited, and I really thought it was interesting to see that a quote that I had from 2001 by Canfield, Hansen, Oberst, Bolin, Lagana. It says, "As our society moves through economic cycles and recovers from acts of terrorism, the concept of volunteering to offer comfort, aid, and most importantly, one's time to make a difference has become validated and as an accepted and natural part of daily life." So that was really interesting to see because that was a quote around the time of the Twin Towers. So 9/11. So that was just that whole quote right there kind of encompasses as the country came together during that time and everybody wanted to volunteer to help each other out. And then a quote from 2016 in a book that I am reading to receive my Certified Volunteer Administrative certification out of. The quote is from SEAL in 2016. They want to see the change as much as be the change, and to post photographs, blog, and tweet about it as they do it. So it seems like a lot of volunteers in my generation, the millennial generation, they are definitely out there to give their time, but they are definitely wanting to volunteer more in a role where they can utilize their skills and not so much be just placed in any position where they're needed. It seems like they kind of just want to focus on, well, I'm really good at spreadsheets, so please put me in a role with spreadsheets, whereas maybe in 2001 it was, I don't know how to do spreadsheets, but teach me how to do spreadsheets. I really know how to sew, but I really don't care what you have me doing. I'll do anything and everything. So it seems like we have, with different generations coming in, everybody kind of has a different outlook on what they want their volunteerism to look like, and that's okay. There is a spot for everybody, but getting to know the different generations and being able to accommodate them is very important. And I love that in my organization, we are very flexible, so there isn't a time limit. If you're coming from work or you can only do 30 minutes a week, which is basically what a lot of my volunteers do, that is okay, because it is going to be helpful and it is going to make somebody feel better about themselves, and it will get them outside of their diagnosis, which is what everybody else talks to them about all the time. If you are ever wanting to become a volunteer, I would say the best thing you can do is go online, start doing a search, looking for things that interest you. If you want to be a volunteer at the local animal shelter, if you want to work at the homeless shelter and help provide food, if you want to volunteer through your church, anything that is interesting to you and will bring about your passion for volunteering. It doesn't have to be in hospice, whereas I would love it if it was hospice, because I could use you on my team. But I think that anybody who volunteers is a really special person, and you're all angels in disguise if you do take time outside of yourself and do something very caring for someone and not expect any monetary gain from it. And like I said before, just 30 minutes one time a week can make a huge impact on somebody's life. And if I could do that in my area, if I could be a hospice volunteer and do those things, I would be so grateful to do it. And since I can't, as the volunteer coordinator, it is a little bit of a conflict of interest, so I am looking at other areas that I can volunteer my time in, because I am so passionate and I definitely believe it makes a huge difference. So if you have a spare chance during the week to do something that you really care about, please go out and volunteer. Thank you.